Hey, welcome everybody to the podcast Running Your Best Life. I am your host, Victor Vizcaino, and with me is my co host, Adele. Hi, Adele.
Hey, my friend. I don't know about you, but we've had rainy, floody weather down south. It's the first sunny day here today. How about you? You have enjoyed some sunshine?
Very little. I mean, we
Okay.
did on the weekend, and then we're back to rain and
Mm,
yeah, and cloudy and a little
yeah,
bit of colder weather. Yesterday, Crystal and I did the trainer because it
okay.
was raining outside, but
Yeah.
it was a good workout. And this coming weekend, we actually go out of town to a training camp.
Yeah. That's going to be fantastic. So, y'all, we got a couple things we want to touch on today, but one of the big things is Victor and Crystal are about 3 weeks. It's June 11th,
Yeah.
12th, 13th. When is her Ironman?
Her event is June 21st.
Okay, so we're just under
Father's
a
Day,
month
actually.
away. Yeah, I know. We're just under about a month. Oh, wait, that is Father's Day, right?
Yeah, it's right
It's
on
Sunday.
Father's Day, and she's dedicating it to her father, and I'll be
Oh,
dedicating to my dad who passed away
that's right.
a
That's
couple of
going to be
years ago.
fantastic. Now, so y'all, this is what we want to talk about. We want to talk about a little bit about this last few weeks of training. We want to talk a little bit about this camp, an Ironman training camp that Victor and Crystal are actually going to do for 4 or 5 days coming up because this is a beautiful opportunity for them to learn some new things and stay on their training and just some quick little tips on how to get through the last month of your big event, the journey to get to your big event, because there's some very key things that we want to advise y'all to look for and do and not do. So let's address the opportunity of the camp. You want to tell us a little bit about it?
Yes, the camp initially, I wanted to do a couple of camps for me to learn about the
Mhm.
camps in the chances that I could build one here in our area
Right.
for training, like a camp. It's always been my dream to have a training camp slash retreat for people.
Yeah. Me
So
too.
I thought, what the best way to do that is to attend those camps and learn how they operate.
Right.
But
Right.
when it comes to training myself and training for my client Crystal, this will be very beneficial for her too to be part of this camp and learn some more things from other coaches because we'll have probably about 3 or 4 coaches there
Good.
teaching us about
Good.
the bike, teaching us about the swim, teaching us all these other things. And it's always really good to get per- the perspective from other
Right.
coaches and the
Right.
training.
I think one of the biggest things that I've learned all my years, helping others and then also learning myself, you never know when that one bit of information is going to be change your opportunity to be successful in what you're doing, right? And that's not just in training for like running or a fitness event, but it's also in life, right? I mean, we learn a lot from our training in life, our life journey
Mm,
to our Ironman or our life journey to our marathon or all the training and practice to achieve a high level of tennis competition success, right? Like I did. But I think the biggest thing is with you being a certified Ironman coach, there's things to pick up from that point of view as well, not
absolutely.
only as an athlete participating in an Ironman. So I think that's important for you, where the other part of that equation is important for Crystal. New tips, right?
Absolutely. And the fact that we're all different, so the more exposure we get to the training of other athletes and
Mhm.
their backgrounds always serves as well because nothing is cookie cutter for everybody. What
Right,
works for one doesn't always
right,
work for everyone.
right.
So in these camps, I feel like it's a good collaboration. I've had the organizer, the founder of that camp, which is Chris Bags.
Hmm.
He was on my podcast, and that's
Right.
how we started talking about attending his camp. And
Hmm.
yeah, the we learn from each other too because we I can bring clients that he may not have had, like some of the conditions that Crystal
Right,
has. They may
right,
have
right.
never had that, so it's a good part to collaborate and let them know some of the different things that we work on
Mhm.
based on her condition and
Mhm.
her situation,
Right.
and just having diversity of people, because
Right.
it's not a required that you're a top athlete when you attend these camps. They
Right.
tell you that on the website. So I think they also benefit from having different people with different kind of backgrounds show up, and
Mhm.
how this is going to work for the training, how people have to train a little bit different than others based on their goals, based on their
Right.
experience.
Well, I
Hmm.
think based on their physical and fitness levels as well.
That's
And
right.
that's kind of why I just wrote a note. You know, a lot of these training camps, they may have restrictions on who can attend, depending on the focus of the camp, correct? So the
Yeah.
the thing is that when it's open, like you said, you don't have to be the highest level of an achiever, right? You're learning a lot of things. So you can be a beginner, you can be a coach like you are, you can be someone who's got some medical issues that they've worked through in their journey of training, like Crystal, but you also have people that may have some other types of infirmities or even age where you modify how you do things because of the physical development your body is feeling as you age. We slow down, we droop, we have different things that happen as we age, right? So you
Abs-
modify so that you can still participate and you can still have the enjoyment of participating in what you love to do, which is basically running, biking, swimming. Have a goal to complete a half Ironman or an Ironman or sprint or Olympic distance. For myself, it was always to stay on top of things so that I could make it through to the finals of three events in a 5-day, 3 or 4 day weekend, which might meant 7 or 8 matches, totally, including at least 3 or 4 singles. So in tennis, so the running supplemented that. Then some of the weight training to keep my upper body strength. So as I aged, I wouldn't run before my matches. I'd swim before my matches, which the swimming and the mental focus it gave me to be ready to walk on a court for 3 or 4 hours. My body was ready, my mind was ready, my spirit was ready. So we all find those things. And at camps, you may pick up on something, not necessarily to try in the last week before Ironman or an event, but to try in your next training journey, right?
yeah.
So I
Yeah.
love the fact that y'all are doing that. So tell us a little bit about how this particular camp might be set up. Obviously, the three events, but is there some mindset? Is there some visualization or some of the intangible type of training as well?
I don't know all of the details because I haven't attended, but
Okay.
I think they're going to cover everything, including some yoga classes.
Good,
They
okay.
cover your meals, so I'm sure they'll cover nutrition and
Mhm.
how to handle your bike, a little
Okay.
bit of bike maintenance,
Yeah, yeah,
and a lot of just camaraderie. I think
right.
when just being together with other athletes, for because it's a 4-day camp.
Oh, wow, you'll be doing a lot of things. You'll be
Yeah,
doing a lot
we
of
get
things,
to
yeah.
know each other, to know how everyone trains, what works for some people, what doesn't work
Mhm.
for other people. Mm, I am super excited about it,
Yeah, yeah,
learning new things,
yeah,
and yeah, just our journey, and the fact that some of my philosophies and missions I can incorporate to the broader prospect, or perspective, because
right.
I always go on the basis of longevity and being
Mhm,
healthy for the long run
mhm,
rather than the race, and making sure we make that distinction that
right,
just because you perform well doesn't mean that you're at your healthiest, and being at your healthiest doesn't mean you're going to perform better either.
right,
So there is some correlation, of course. The
yeah,
healthier you are, you're probably going to do better, but
mhm,
it doesn't always equal one-on-one. Some I think that a lot of people, to perform better, they do a lot of unhealthy things for the long run. So they may do very well on a race,
right,
but it doesn't mean that it's going to be best for them 2 years down the road if they
right,
neglected other things in their bodies, or their nutrition, or they perform better because they drop to a weight that's ideal for racing,
mhm.
but not necessarily their bodies appreciate that.
Yeah,
Uh,
well,
it-
and And you know what? That leads us into another little tip that we were going to share with our listeners and our viewers was, here we are at kind of the last 3 to 4 weeks prior to a major event for Crystal and Victor, because he's doing the event as well. Well, are you actively participating in the event
Yes,
as well?
that's right. I
Okay,
am registered. I will be
okay.
doing alongside with her.
Okay, so the biggest thing to kind of carry over from what Victor just said is that we don't always do what's best for our bodies all the time. And that's okay, because what might be best in our training to get to our event, we eat a certain way, we hydrate a certain way, we eliminate activities in our lives or certain commitments to relationships and other things that keep us away from our training because we do have a goal, right?
Right,
Post that goal being achieved. You want to go eat your ice cream, you want to go have a few beers, you want to go have a big meal with your family. Your body is still in training mode, so it's going to react differently than if you were doing that kind of stuff consistently, right? So
right,
when you finish your training event, your nutrition and hydration obviously will change because you have to back off from the intentional control of what you're ingesting, but also the intentional control of how you're resting and eliminating distractions. So, one of the biggest things that I always found, I love ice cream. Y'all, I love ice cream. Y'all know that, and pizza. But what I would do post 5 or 6, 7 matches of a long weekend of competitive, high level competitive tennis, championship level, and I'm finishing in 3 events in the semis or the finals. My partner and I in the doubles and mixed doubles, we would always, regardless of win or lose in the semis or the finals, our treat was to go have 4 or 5 scoops of ice cream with all the stuff on top. And of course, I'd just go right to sleep because don't let me drive. But it was a treat because I wouldn't have had it for several weeks or several months. Same thing with the running. That kind of food item wasn't good for me to stay on task, right? So
right.
when you're finished your event, things will change. And as Victor said, 2 years down the road, if you start training for another event, you pick a goal, you're going to start getting back on a little bit more concentrated, intentional plan. Activity, rest, nutrition, distractions being eliminated. Because for you, it's important to work within this little circle of what works for you. As we age a little bit, remember we have to modify some of our training, either the time invested or the way we train, right? And
Right.
so I think this camp, when y'all go, you may see some very young participants as athletes. You may see some very seasoned coaches who are still competing, although competing with some modifications to how they run, bike, and swim,
Right.
right? So I think it's such a beneficial opportunity to get just consume information and then just create these relationships that can be long term for different things that come up in your future, right? I
Yeah.
love that. I love that.
Collaborations. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Yeah. I love that.
And yeah, and to cultivate that kind of mindset that we are in it for the long run. And
Mm,
as long as we are conscientious that we're doing it for health reasons, for longevity, I think we can take better care of our bodies and also compete at the same time, but in a different level. Because I think that if you are trained kind of the way I was training at the beginning of
hmm
my triathlons, is like, oh yeah, or even marathons. I wanted to qualify for the Boston. Okay,
hmm
qualified for the Boston. Now what? I had to be the next thing and
Yeah.
the next thing, and it leaves a little bit of unsatisfaction because you are just chasing these big goals, and if they're no longer there, then you tend to um, not take care of yourself. Because why should I stay healthy
Yeah.
if I'm not? You kind of sending those signals that why should I stay at the top of my health if I'm not competing?
hmm And
So
I think that's a great point to make because we choose to do fitness or athletic events because we can, because we are allowing ourselves to create the comfort zone with our bodies. The flip side of that, y'all, and I'm gonna segue from what Victor just shared. He's in his 50s, later 50, 58, 68. Crystal's in her 48. We're all 10 years apart. But if you look at those 3 decades of where each of us are, myself being the oldest, I am still doing things that I've done for 50, 60 years, right?
Right.
And for me, that mindset is not to go out and compete for a time in a half marathon or a marathon, or to compete and train to be able to play 7 matches in 3 days again with a swim each morning to create my mindset. For me now, and for the last decade of my life, basically from 59, 60 to where I am now, 68 going to 69 at the end of this year, is the longevity factor because I'm not allowing my brain and my body to break down.
Right.
That is a choice I make to continue exercising at a pretty high level. Pretty high level. I mean, I'm going to say that because not a lot of people will go out and ride 25, 30 miles on a bike, swim 2.5 miles the next day, or 3,000 yards the next day. I run, walk, but then also some weight training, resistance training for my body's my bone, right? There's not a lot of people my age that do it, but then there's a great amount of people that do because they want to be here another 30. I want to be here another 68 years. So there's another mindset involved when you finish your event. And I want to comment on something that Victor said a minute ago. We work hard to the day of our event, correct, Victor?
Right.
And we achieve what we've worked hard for a year, 6 to 8 months. We focus, we put other things on hold in our lives. Y'all, you have to embrace that moment for that moment. Because what's going to happen the next day, 3 days later, the next week, or if you travel there in a couple of days, you've sightseed or you have family with you, the impact of your achievement and your success starts to dissipate. You can wear your medal all day long. You can wear your caps everywhere you go. Wear your t-shirts as your dress t-shirts everywhere you go. But the impact and the joy, it starts to diminish a little bit. Not a bad thing. Not a bad thing. But understand that the moment you're there, embrace it. And as the days come, always hold on to the fact that you did that. You are an Ironman. You are a marathon runner. You are now ranked in the South because you've worked your heart, your butt off to compete on the tennis court. Okay. You are a grandmother, a grandfather, you're a mom. You're doing this to stay healthy so you can be around your children, your grandchildren, the people you love, and still be active with them. So
Yeah.
embrace the day of the event and allow yourself the grace to understand that the excitement diminishes a little bit. And about a week or two later, okay, your medal might be on the table. Your t-shirt's now been worn 17 times, but it needs to be washed, right? Your
Yeah.
hat, you're spraying your hat because you're sweating in it, but you want to wear it everywhere. That's going to sit on the desk, right? And be there when you're ready to go out. Let that fill your heart that you are now successful. You've achieved it. Enjoy coming down from all of the journey and the intentional part of those journeys of the training and give yourself time before you set another goal. The excitement's there. I want to do another one. I want to do another one. Okay, look on your calendar. Pick a date somewhere you want to go. And when you're ready to train again, remember you've got an incredible base of fitness and training and endurance and mindset and everything that went with it to get to that first event. And
Absolutely.
and then you start again.
Yeah, and one of our mantras or one of our quotes in our Team Blaze Triathlon Club is enjoy the journey. And I'm
Yes.
always reminding people of that is like, yeah, you have to enjoy the journey. And I feel that triathletes or endurance sports is a way of putting enjoyment into the sport or to the staying healthy, to the exercising and
Right.
eating healthy.
Right.
And you don't have to do endurance. And I think we get a lot of people talking about you don't need to run a marathon to stay
Right.
healthy, you don't need to
Right.
do this endurance. And no, but for some people it they do find it fun, they find
Right.
it
Right.
more motivating because the other things maybe didn't work, or maybe they find a group that is more, that holds you more accountable than
Mhm.
your peers just going at the gym. Like if you decided, oh, my goal is to go to the gym 5 day or 4 days a week,
Right.
but for some reason it keeps getting dropped off, or uh, next week I'll do the 4 days, and then all of a sudden you're not going to the gym. What I found for me and for other my clients and for some of my peers is that having a race or doing it through a race, staying healthy and exercising, is because you do sign up for something that you're committed
Right.
to,
Right.
and you look, it's something to look forward to, so that when you thinking, it's like, should I go to the gym, should I not, it's like, yes, because I want to do well.
Right.
Yes, some people even say, well, yes, because I don't want to die.
I don't want to die.
I don't want
And
to die
long,
in the race.
and
And that's a motivator,
yep, it is a motivator. And you got to remember too, a lot of people, when like Victor and Crystal are going to meet a lot of new people that they may forge relationships with that'll bring them, that the relationships stay with them for their future, right? Either to say, hey, I'm going to go run down in Florida. You live in Texas. Would you like to meet and do that event? And we'll get together again and share a couple of meals and maybe train our last bit of the race. Y'all got to remember something. One of the biggest reasons that we achieve longevity in our lives is relationships. But as we've talked about before in a couple of our podcasts, the two first things that you do to achieve longevity, physical, brain, spiritual, emotional health, is movement, right?
Absolutely.
Movement's number one. Nutrition and hydration, how you fuel the body that you're given, and then the relationship that you forge, right? You don't
Yeah.
have to have thousands of relationships, but remember those three, those are the top three things to achieve longevity in your life. And when you put a little bit of those together on every level, it could be going out for a walk with your significant other for a mile around the neighborhood every day after a meal, sharing your day. There's your relationship, you've had a good meal, and you're moving, right?
And
So Victor's going to find a lot of that next week.
yeah, and coincidentally, those are the same um,
Mhm.
things that you need for happiness and joy in life. So if
Right.
you can combine them in a such a way and package them to where you're working them and they can fall very in rhythm, in, yeah, in synchronicity with your
Right.
other
Right.
things that you're doing,
Right.
then it makes it a lot easier
Right.
when your relationships are the same people you are training with, you are pushing each other to eat healthy,
Mhm.
because it is difficult. And I know that from myself, I know that from clients who find very little support, for example, in their
Right.
family. They're the
Right.
only ones that are trying to eat healthy. Everybody is um, having these other meals, and it's like, oh, it makes it just a little bit harder
Right. Right.
to stay in that accountability.
Well, and I think that's the biggest thing. It's accountability, but it's accountability to yourself.
Yeah.
And when you have the support of those closest to you, it's easy enough to say, I'm at a wedding reception and I'm gonna have a small piece of cake. Oh, here's another piece. Would you like a glass of wine or champagne? No, really, I would prefer not to have that right now. I've got some water with some lemon in it. Oh, have a glass. And all of a sudden they push and push and push. Don't let them, y'all. You know what's good for you, and don't buckle down. You have a choice, you have a goal, and you're taking care of yourself. And
Yeah.
it becomes a little bit of a joke to other people who don't have the same perception that you're operating your life in at that point in time. Here I am. I'm trying. I'm training for an Ironman. So when I go to a reception or a party, I'm not going to be drinking alcohol because of what it does to my training process. Right? It dehydrates me, or I don't get the rest, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So when people don't appreciate that you have things you're doing, it's okay. Respect theirs. If you let them do what they want to do, you do what you want to do. Let you do what you want to do. And
Yeah.
all you have to do is be polite. No, I'd
Yeah,
really
and
prefer that.
we
Yeah,
can't forget that we're also, other people are mimicking us. Other people
right.
are also looking, oh, that's how he stays healthy. He just he had one beer and then he drank water, or he had two beers and he didn't even drink water. I can do that. Or we start to pressure each other in different ways. But
Right.
I've even been in with some of my relatives that will
Right.
say, literally say, if they offer them a drink, and then they'll look at me, "Are you going to drink?" And if I say no, yeah, I don't. Yeah, I don't either. I don't want to drink either. It's like,
Yeah.
oh,
Yeah.
had I said yes, they would have also said, yeah, then
Yeah.
I'll have a beer.
Kind of the leader of the pack, right? The leader of the pack.
Yeah,
Whatever
but
Victor
it
does,
is.
I'll do.
It's the influence we're having, and pretty soon, once we are so comfortable with that kind of, um, uh, I guess, mindset and
Mhm.
lifestyle, we start to attract people of like-minded, or people who weren't there start to also mold to us, and then pretty soon it's a lot easier and smooth operating, because you already surrounded yourself with like-minded people, and you
Right.
keep influencing more and more. I We went actually to a winery when we were in Napa,
Hmm.
and the lady there said that their sales were down because the new generation is actually drinking a lot less
Right.
wine
Right.
than before.
Well, and the same thing with more unhealthy choices. Cigarettes. Cigarette sales are down.
Yeah,
Obviously, that's a huge thing, and that's a really good thing. But the alcohol consumption is down, and you can see this in all your liquor companies across the country, across the world. What they're what they're doing though is allowing healthier choices when you look at
yeah.
it.
And I
Yes.
think so many things have happened, such as COVID. COVID was a big
Hmm.
opener for a lot of people. It's like, oh, if even infections and other things that we're susceptible are a lot easier to get when we're not
Right.
healthy.
Right. Exactly. I've been listening and researching something recently. I'm going to share just a couple of key points. There's a lot of things we can do. Now, you look, you're I have to say this, kind of like just to be transparent. You're looking at two endurance athletes, right?
Right,
Who's ever out there listening and watching, you're looking at two very highly trained, committed endurance athletes, right? You're also looking at two people who are helping others not necessarily become an endurance athlete, but to live a healthier lifestyle because they've made the choice themselves as well. So to be completely transparent, there's a lot of things that I'm learning that the environment and influences, all of these other people and products and organizations are trying their best to continue making money on unhealthy choices for the masses, right?
right,
Processed foods, alcohol, tobacco, drugs, a little bit. There's a lot of money in that for the people on that end of it. What we're seeing is our generation, and you gotta remember we're 10 years apart. Our generation started the wave in the 70s, the 80s, the 90s, as we were coming up as children and high school ages and college ages, athletes, people more aware of what can hurt. Things changed as we got into our 30s, 40s, and 50s. If you weren't already living healthy, you were making better choices to live healthy. So
right.
for Victor, say the last 20 years or so, I think you qualified for Boston how long ago?
I think the last time, probably about 5 years ago.
Okay, 5 years ago. But your fitness and running and commitment to a healthy lifestyle was really within the last 10 to 12 years, right?
Yes, yes,
Okay. And
absolutely.
mine, yeah.
I started
So
48. At 48 is when I started running.
okay, so we're looking at 10 years of running, 10 years of making some choices, doing the supplemental activities as well. Not no smoke, not a lot of smoking, not a lot of drinking, eating healthier. But y'all, this is the key. This is the example that we set, right? We're setting an example by just making better choices. When we make better choices and we live it, look at our children's generation and our grandchildren's generation. They're consuming less alcohol or they're consuming healthier choices.
Yeah,
They're eating better and trying to learn not to eat the processed stuff that our parents had to eat, spam and hot dogs and all the other things because it was cheap, it was ready, and that's how we all ate. So the key is Be the example by how you spend your day and how you lived your life. And you never know who that might impact. You just don't know.
Yes, and you're gonna feel better. And I think that's one of the
Yes.
key, for me
Yes.
at least, big motivator is not giving into certain pleasures because
Mhm.
I know I'm gonna feel better if I either prolong the gratification or just gratify myself in a different way, and
Right.
that's gonna make me feel better for longer.
Right. So besides ice cream, y'all, I would run all my marathons and half marathons. And you got to understand this. I'm in South Louisiana. I'm in New Orleans. It's king cake from January to Mardi Gras. But of course, king cake all year long. I would run. It's a shame to say this, but I did because I would train and be disciplined and be intentional. I would finish my races on a Saturday or Sunday. My kids will tell you this. There would be a large king cake, delicious king cake sitting in my house, untouched. Completely untouched, Victor. King cake's and my favorite ice cream in the freezer. I would come home after my medals are all over me. I've got my sweaty face and my sweaty jacket. I would stop at Bath and Body Works and buy myself one item. I don't care what it was, one item. I'd walk into my house, cut a piece of king cake. I would strip down, take a shower. King cake's waiting for me when I come out. Put on pajamas or scrubs, whatever I wanted to wear. My kids would come over later in the afternoon and we would just watch some movies. We'd celebrate me. My daughter used to draw the bath and put the candles in a tall glass of ice water with either lemon or lime in it for me because I was coming from a marathon. Let my body heal a little bit. And I would eat ice cream and king cake all night. It didn't matter whatever else was there. But y'all, it was one day. One day. The king cake was gone, thank God. And the ice cream was usually left over for the next race. But y'all, that was my jam. It was my jam. It really was. I don't do it anymore, but it was wonderful to give myself that treat of things that I loved and didn't have for the course of my training journey because I really wanted to be successful.
Good for
And
you, and
yeah,
it was a
yeah,
way to reward yourself and
yeah,
give you the motivation. And
yeah,
yeah, I think that it's very important for people to have a something to look forward other than just the medal and something that they've been maybe they felt deprived of
right,
all those
right,
training times
right,
and that
right,
reward. And people can
right,
reward themselves in different ways. I mean,
right,
mm, and in different times. Sometimes it's just a pat in the back for that extra mile or a pat in the
right,
back for not stopping when they wanted to stop.
right,
Um,
right.
there's
Well,
so many,
and if your family or friends or your support group is there at the end, and you just the tears keep flowing, that's another part of it too. You
yeah,
know,
absolutely.
yeah. So, Victor, I have a question for you. When y'all go to the camp, that's going to be great training and great learning and great camaraderie that you develop. When you come back, you have about 2 to 2.5 weeks prior
Yeah.
to getting down over to Coeur
Then
d'Alene and
it,
getting set up, correct?
Coeur d'Alene will be the race in Coeur d'Alene.
Right.
Yes. We'll have, what is it, 2 weeks or three
Uh,
weeks before
yeah.
the
Yeah.
race?
Yeah. How quickly will y'all be getting to the race site? Like
Two-
2 or 3 days ahead of time?
Say that one more time.
How soon will you get to the race site? Maybe 2 or 3 days ahead of the race day, so y'all can scope everything out. I mean, I know you know the course. I know you know the
Yeah,
environment.
no, we live literally 40 minutes
Oh,
from there.
okay. It's not far. Okay. Okay.
So yeah, and that's where we've been training. I
Okay.
have I'm doing a bike ride course where I am hiring somebody or one of their friends is helping us with beacons on the truck so that
Oh,
we can just make sure that people are aware that there's a bike ride, and that's going to be on let's see, June 6th.
okay. So
June
2 weeks
6th at
before.
9
Okay.
9 a.m. We are meeting at the park close to where the race starts. I think
Okay.
it's McEwen
Okay.
Park, and doing the whole course on the bike.
Very cool.
And
Very, very cool.
it's supported, and anybody's welcome. And these are great because this particular race is on the actual road,
Good. Good.
and the road is a highway, so it's a very busy highway,
Oh,
and that's
wow.
why we're doing it this way, where the truck has the beacons and the
Okay.
sign to
Okay.
make sure
Yeah.
traffic is aware that there's bikes on the road, and
Yeah.
it's going to benefit a lot of people that want to ride the course. I think that's one of the best things you can do to
Right.
prepare for a
Right.
race is to ride the course.
Right.
Mm.
Right. Now, does Coeur d'Alene have the same um course for running as the biking, or are these a completely different
It
run
is
course?
part of, yeah, part of the same course. It's going to
Okay.
be the run part, except it is very enclosed. So you do two, since it's only 13.1 miles, it's a half marathon.
Hmm.
It's going to be two loops of that.
Okay.
So even that, it's like a 5K one way, 5K the other one, and then they repeat it. So it
Okay.
stays very concentrated in a small area. It's
Okay.
very well supported for the same reason,
Good. Good.
and tons of fans because the fans now don't have to spread out. They
Right.
can stay in one area.
Right.
That makes it really accommodating, especially when you've done such a long race, to have
Right.
all these
Right.
um, support from the fans, support for nutrition, support for your hydration.
Right.
Very,
Right.
but as far as we are training in the lake. We
Okay.
might do a different part of the lake where it's actually closer. As we get close to the race, we'll actually be swimming more right around where the race
Okay.
is.
Wow.
It is still difficult because there's boats in the lake, so we don't do the route of the swim because of
Okay.
the boats. We have to stay where it's safer.
Right.
The
Right.
day
Right.
before the race, we will probably, if they allow us to, and the buoys are set up,
Hmm.
hopefully we can do the actual course.
Right. And just practice it. That would be fantastic. So, y'all, we gave y'all a bunch of variety, just different things about going to training camps, longevity issues, how to be happy when you're successful and achieving your goal, and how to come down a little bit from that joy, but pick it back up to continue with your healthy lifestyle, modify it since you're not training anymore. You definitely want to have a little bit more of things you like. We've talked about the different things that Victor's going to be doing from the perspective of a coach at the training camp, some relationships that he's hoping to forge there, and share some coaching experiences as well as Crystal learning from the athlete and the participants side of the training camp experience as well. I'm trying to think if there's anything else that we wanted to touch on. We were just hitting some general tips today as we get closer to the impact of the race because we wanted to actually talk a little bit more about the training camp and those last 2 weeks prior where you taper a little bit. You
Yeah,
don't push yourself. You watch how you hydrate. You watch how your nutrition is going through the
yeah.
regular
And
systems without the same amount of training.
you want to simulate as
Right.
close as possible to the race. So now you're
Right.
starting to do the brick routes. If you can, like with us being so close to the race, that's why we're doing the course.
Yeah.
We're going to train very similar to how we're going to race
Good.
as it
Good.
gets closer to the race. And
Good.
for anybody who's interested in doing the course, Coeur d'Alene, Idaho Ironman course, and wants to sign up for that bike ride, they can go to my website and sign through that. What we're going to do is we're not charging, but if they want to make a donation, they'll be able to make a donation to help out
Okay.
with the support.
Okay. Oh, somebody's just coming up to my window. I just saw that. I'm sorry. That just surprised me right out here. Hopefully it's a present for me. Maybe it's
Yeah,
money. I would love that. Um,
wonderful.
anyway, thank y'all for letting me get distracted for just a minute, but surprised me. Anyway, what I want to say too is when we try to get together next time, it probably won't be early next week because of the training camp that Victor and Crystal are going to. So we may miss a little bit of contact with y'all over the next week and a half, but definitely that 2 week window prior to them going to Coeur d'Alene, getting set up for the race and all that, we definitely want to address a few things with y'all about tapering in your last couple of weeks, lowering the intensity of your training and your weight training, you lower the weights, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. A couple of tips that Victor knows will benefit your body to rest and be energized when you're ready for those last couple of days prior to the race, where you just kind of kick things up a little bit to keep the momentum going, to keep the movement in your body, keep the heart strong, keep your mind strong as well. So we'll address some of that as we get a little bit closer to those last 2 weeks prior
Yeah, and
to
I'll
the
update
event.
everyone. I'll update them on what the camp was like.
Right, definitely. We're definitely going to recap the camp. Okay, y'all remember, send us any questions. Definitely like and share our episodes. I usually put it on the Facebook, on my Facebook feed. You know how to contact us. It's in the notes. Send me a message if you have any questions. Victor's got his website and I think the YouTube channel, all the other things that are on there with his little quickie little short things. I've got some things that's going to be coming up too. I know I said that last week or 2 weeks ago. Family vacations and all that other stuff are coming up too. So, my friend, I wish you the best at that camp. Give Crystal a big support from me. I've got hugs for her that I'm sending to and all my energy. Y'all enjoy it and bring back some good information and some good energy for us that we can share
Absolutely.
with our athletes. It would be great. It would be great.
Yes. Okay. I look forward to it. And till next time, stay triumphant.
Yes, stay triumphant. Live well, y'all. We'll see you real soon. Bye,
And
my friend.
thank you,
Mwah.
Adele. Bye.